The arrival. The skies above Earth churned with an unnatural energy, a shimmering curtain of light that danced across the atmosphere. To the billions watching from the ground, it might have been a spectacular aurora, a celestial light show on a global scale. But Dr. Samira Patel knew better. Her eyes, dark and intense, were fixed on the holographic display hovering above her workstation at the Quantum Communication Research Facility in Geneva. "It's happening," she murmured, her voice barely audible over the hum of supercomputers and the frantic whispers of her colleagues. "They're here." As if in response to her words, the facility's alarms blared to life, bathing the cavernous room in pulsing red light. Samira's fingers flew across her haptic interface, ringing up live feeds from observatories and satellites around the world. The images confirmed what the quantum fluctuations had been telling her for days. An alien fleet had entered Earth's solar system, and it was massive. Vessels of impossible size and geometry emerged from the light show, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence. They defied known physics, seeming to phase in and out of reality as they approached Earth's orbit. Samira's mind raced, calculating the immense energy required for such a journey, the technological gap between humanity and these visitors. "Dr. Patel." The voice cut through her thoughts, sharp and urgent. It was Director Chen, his usually composed demeanor shattered by the weight of the moment. "The Security Council is convening. They need you on the call. Now." Samira nodded, taking a deep breath to steady herself. As she made her way to the secure communication room, screens throughout the facility flickered to life with news broadcasts from around the world. The secret was out. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. The communication room was a flurry of activity when Samira entered. Holographic projections of world leaders and top scientists hovered around a central table, their faces etched with a mixture of awe and fear. At the head of the table stood the imposing figure of General Adriana Kostova, her steely gaze cutting through the chaos. "Dr. Patel," the general acknowledged, "what can you tell us about these visitors?" Samira stepped forward, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The aliens appear to be using some form of quantum propulsion, far beyond our current understanding. Their ability to manipulate space-time suggests a civilization thousands, perhaps millions of years ahead of us technologically." A murmur rippled through the assemblage. The President of the United States leaned forward, her holographic form flickering slightly. "And their intentions? Do we have any idea why they're here?" Before Samira could respond, a new voice filled the room, not from any of the holograms, but seeming to emanate from the very air around them. It was deep, resonant, and undeniably alien. "People of Earth," the voice intoned, "we are the Valhari Collective. For millennia, we have watched your species, waiting for the day you might join the galactic community. That day has come." The room fell silent, every eye and ear focused on the unseen speaker. However, the voice continued, "Your planet stands at a crossroads. Your technological advancement has outpaced your spiritual and ethical growth. You possess the means to destroy yourselves and potentially others. This cannot be allowed." General Kostova's hand instinctively moved to her sidearm, though she knew it would be useless against such advanced beings. "What exactly are you proposing?" she demanded. "We offer you a choice," the Valhari voice replied. "Submit to our guidance, allow us to oversee your development, and ensure you do not become a threat to the galaxy or face immediate containment. You have 24 of your Earth hours to decide." The communication cut off abruptly, leaving the room in stunned silence. It was the Chinese premier who spoke first, his voice tight with barely controlled anger. "This is outrageous. They cannot simply come here and demand our submission." "I agree," the EU president chimed in. "But what choice do we have?" "You heard Dr. Patel. They are far beyond us technologically. How can we hope to resist?" All eyes turned to Samira, who had been silent since the alien message. She felt the weight of humanity's future pressing down on her shoulders. "There might be a way," she said slowly, her mind racing through quantum equations and theoretical models. But it's risky, and we'd need the cooperation of every nation on Earth. General Kostova stepped closer, her eyes narrow with curiosity. Explain, Doctor. Samira took a deep breath. For years, my team has been working on a theory of quantum entanglement on a massive scale. We believed it could be used for instantaneous communication across vast distances. But what if? What if we could use it for more than just communication? She waved her hand, bringing up a complex holographic model. If we can entangle enough particles, create a quantum network encompassing the entire planet, we might be able to do something the Valhari would never expect. The President of India leaned forward, intrigued. And what's that, Dr. Patel? Samira's eyes gleamed with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. We could reach out to the rest of the galaxy. Not just communicate, but connect. If there are other civilizations out there, advanced ones that might stand up to the Valhari, we could call for help. The room erupted in a cacophony of voices, some skeptical, others hopeful. General Kostova raised her hand, silencing the commotion. How long would this take, Doctor? We only have 24 hours. Samira's face set in determination. With global cooperation and every quantum computer on the planet, we might, just might, be able to do it in time. But we'd need to start now. The general nodded, then turned to address the world leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems we have a decision to make. Do we submit to alien rule, or do we take this chance, this quantum gambit? One by one, the leaders voiced their agreement. It was a long shot, a desperate plan born of humanity's refusal to bow down. But as Samira rushed out of the room, her mind already calculating the monumental task ahead, she felt a glimmer of hope. The next 24 hours would determine the fate of humanity, and for the first time since the alien ships appeared, Earth had a plan. The quantum ultimatum had begun. The quantum gambit. The next 23 hours passed in a blur of frenetic activity. As news of the alien ultimatum spread across the globe, panic gripped some, while others found themselves galvanized by humanity's greatest challenge. In research facilities, military bases, and government buildings around the world, a singular focus emerged: the success of Dr. Samira Patel's audacious plan. Samira herself hadn't slept, her mind racing with calculations and possibilities, as she coordinated a global effort unlike anything in human history. The quantum nexus, as they were calling it, would be the largest and most complex machine ever built by human hands, if it could be built at all. Status report. General Kostova's voice crackled through the comm system. The military leader had taken charge of the global response, her steady demeanor an anchor in the chaos. Samira glanced at the holographic display, a swirling mass of data points representing quantum entanglement nodes being established around the planet. "We're at 68% completion," she replied, her voice hoarse from hours of non-stop communication. "But General, even if we finish in time, we can't be certain." "Certainty is a luxury we don't have, Doctor," Kostova cut in. "How are our guests reacting?" Samira switched her view to the orbital feeds. The Valhari ships hung in the sky like silent sentinels, their otherworldly designs still defying full analysis. "They seem confused," she said, frowning. "They've made no attempts to interfere with our work, but they're definitely scanning us. I think our apparent inaction has them puzzled." A grim chuckle came through the comm. "Good. Let them wonder. Carry on, Doctor. The world is counting on you." As the connection cut off, Samira allowed herself a moment to feel the weight of that responsibility. Billions of lives, the entire future of humanity, rested on her theory, a theory that had been largely dismissed by the scientific community until now. Dr. Patel. A young researcher burst into the room, his eyes wide with excitement. "We've done it. The quantum entanglement is stable across all nodes." Samira's heart leaped. "Show me," she demanded, turning to the main display. The hologram shifted, revealing a pulsing web of light that encompassed the globe. Each point represented a quantum computer, now linked in ways that defied classical physics. Information could theoretically be transmitted instantly across this network, regardless of distance. But they needed more than just earthbound communication. Samira's gaze shifted to the secondary display, where a countdown timer showed less than an hour remaining before the Valhari's deadline. "Begin the broadcast," she ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Full spectrum, maximum power. Let's hope someone out there is listening." As the quantum nexus hummed to life, its energy output spiking to levels that made power grids across the planet flicker, Samira closed her eyes. In her mind, she visualized the message they were sending, not just words or images, but a quantum signature, a cry for help encoded in the very fabric of space-time. High above, the Valhari ships suddenly came to life. Energy readings spiked as they reacted to the unexpected surge from Earth. A transmission cut through all communication channels. "Humans," the alien voice boomed, a note of uncertainty creeping into its formerly imperious tone. "What is the meaning of this? Explain yourselves immediately." Before anyone could respond, a new alert blared through the facility. Samira's eyes snapped open, focusing on an incoming data stream that shouldn't have been possible. We're receiving a response," she whispered, incredulous. "But it's not from the Valhari. Oh my God." The quantum computers were processing information at speeds beyond human comprehension, but the message becoming clear was unmistakable. Someone, or something, had heard Earth's call, and they were answering. Holographic displays across the facility flickered and reformed, showing a new set of ships approaching the solar system at impossible speeds. They were nothing like the Valhari vessels, where the invaders were all sharp angles and intimidating bulk. These new arrivals seemed to flow like liquid metal, their forms shifting and adapting as they moved. "This is the Zarkon Cooperative." A melodious voice emanated from every speaker, in perfect Earth English. "We have received your quantum distress call. Humans of Earth, your ingenuity in reaching out to us is impressive. We stand ready to assist." A chorus of cheers erupted throughout the facility, but Samira remained focused, her scientific mind already grappling with the implications. "How?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "The distances involved, the power required." As if in answer to her unspoken questions, one of the Zarkon ships seemed to ripple, and suddenly a holographic figure stood before her. It was vaguely humanoid, but composed of swirling patterns of light that shifted constantly. "Dr. Samira Patel," the being said, its voice carrying a warmth that belied its alien nature. "Your work on quantum entanglement has opened a door that many thought impossible. We have been waiting for a species like yours, one that could bridge the gap between conventional space and the quantum realm." Samira's mind reeled. "You mean you've been watching us, waiting for us to make this breakthrough?" The Zarkon's form rippled in what might have been a nod. "Many advanced civilizations in our galaxy have chosen isolation or aggression, like the Valhari, but a few, like us, have sought connection. Your quantum call didn't just reach us. It proved you were ready to join a greater community." Before Samira could respond, General Kostova's voice cut through the facility. "All personnel, brace for possible engagement. The Valhari ships are powering up weapon systems." The Zarkon's form shifted, its patterns becoming more angular, almost militant. "It seems diplomacy may not be an option. Dr. Patel, with your permission, we would like to integrate our systems with your quantum nexus. Together, we can show the Valhari that humanity is not to be trifled with." Samira hesitated for only a moment before nodding firmly. As she began the integration process, she couldn't help but marvel at the turn of events. In less than a day, humanity had gone from facing subjugation to standing on the brink of joining an advanced galactic civilization. As Zarkon energy signatures merged with the quantum nexus, the holographic displays lit up with new information. secrets of the universe that humans had only dreamed of understanding. Samira allowed herself a small smile. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: humanity's place in the cosmos would never be the same. The Battle of Sol was about to begin, and Earth, against all odds, was ready. Friends among the stars. The integration of Zarkon technology with the quantum nexus was like nothing Samira had ever experienced. Information flooded her mind at speeds that should have been incomprehensible, yet somehow she understood. It was as if the quantum entanglement had linked not just machines, but consciousness itself. Remarkable. The Zarkon representative, who had introduced itself as Scythe, commented. Its form shimmered with patterns that Samira now recognized as expressions of complex quantum states. Your species adapts quickly. This will serve you well in the coming conflict. Before Samira could respond, General Kostova's voice cut through the facility. Dr. Patel, we need you in the war room immediately. And bring our new friend. As they made their way through the bustling corridors, Samira couldn't help but notice the mix of awe and apprehension on the faces of her colleagues. Scythe's presence was a stark reminder of how quickly the world had changed. The war room was a hive of activity, holographic displays showing real-time updates from around the globe and beyond. World leaders, military commanders, and top scientists were all connected, their faces grim but determined. The Valhari have issued another ultimatum, General Kostova announced as Samira and Tylith entered. They're demanding we cease all quantum activities and surrender unconditionally, or face immediate annihilation. A murmur of concern rippled through the assembled holograms. The president of the African Union leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. And what of our new allies? What do the Zarkon propose? All eyes turned to Scythe, whose form seemed to grow more defined, more solid, as it addressed the assembly. The Valhari Collective is known to us, it began, its voice resonating with a depth that seemed to carry the weight of eons. They are but one faction in a complex galactic political landscape. Their philosophy of guided evolution has led them to subjugate countless developing worlds. But they are not unopposed. With a gesture, Kylith brought up a new holographic display, showing a vast map of the Milky Way. Points of light representing various civilizations and alliances flickered across its spiral arms. For millennia, the Zarkon Cooperative has worked to maintain balance in the galaxy. We believe in the right of species to develop naturally, to find their own path to the stars. The Valhari's actions here are a direct violation of the galactic concord. The Chinese premier's hologram flickered as he spoke up. If that's the case, why haven't you stopped them before? Why wait for us to call for help? Halith's form rippled in what Samira was beginning to recognize as a sign of deep consideration. The politics of advanced civilizations are complex. Direct intervention is often seen as a last resort. But your quantum call changed everything. By reaching out to us using technology of your own development, you proved yourselves ready for galactic citizenship. This gives us the right and the obligation to defend you. General Kostova stepped forward, her posture rigid with the weight of command. That's all well and good, but we have more immediate concerns. The Valhari fleet outguns us by orders of magnitude. Even with your help, how can we hope to defend Earth? A new voice joined the conversation, melodious, yet carrying an undercurrent of steel. Perhaps we can assist with that. All eyes turned to a new hologram that had appeared in the center of the room. The being it depicted was avian in nature, with iridescent feathers and eyes that sparkled with intelligence. I am High Marshal Zikra of the Aetherian Confederation, the newcomer announced. We too received your quantum distress call, though it took us longer to respond. We stand ready to join the defense of Earth. Samira's mind reeled. The quantum broadcast had reached further than she'd ever dreamed possible. As if reading her thoughts, Haxylith turned to her, its form pulsing with what seemed like pride. Your achievement cannot be overstated, Dr. Patel. The quantum entanglement network you created has done more than just call for help. It has revealed Earth's potential to the galaxy. Many are watching now, and many are choosing to stand with humanity. As if to underscore Tyleth's words, new signals began pouring in through the quantum nexus. Civilizations from across the galaxy were responding, pledging support or simply expressing solidarity with Earth. Names and images flashed across the displays. The Crystalline Vox Collective, the energy beings of the Lumina Conclave, the biotech masters of the Gaia Synod. "My God," Samira whispered, overwhelmed by the scope of what was unfolding. "We're not alone. We're really not alone." General Kostova, ever practical, brought the focus back to the immediate threat. "This is all very impressive, but we have less than an hour before the Valhari's deadline. How do we coordinate a defense with allies scattered across the galaxy?" Tyleth and Zikra exchanged a look that somehow conveyed volumes despite their alien features. "The quantum network," Tyleth said. "With your permission, we can use it to create a temporary wormhole network. Our allies can arrive in time. But what?" Kostova pressed. "Such a network, on this scale, has never been attempted," Zikra explained. "The energy requirements are enormous, and the stress on spacetime itself could be unpredictable." All eyes turned to Samira. Once again, the fate of humanity rested on her understanding of quantum mechanics. She took a deep breath, her mind racing through calculations and possibilities. "We've come this far," she said finally, her voice steady with newfound determination. "If we don't try, we lose everything anyway. I say we do it." A chorus of agreement echoed through the war room. As the assembly broke into groups to coordinate the coming battle, Samira found herself standing between Tyleth and Zikra, the three of them gazing up at the holographic display of the Valhari fleet. "I never imagined my work would lead to this," Samira mused. "A battle for Earth, fought alongside aliens." Zikra's feathers ruffled in what might have been amusement. "The universe is full of surprises, Dr. Puddle. But in our experience, it's often the youngest species that surprise us the most." As the countdown to the Valhari's deadline ticked away, the quantum network hummed with activity. Across the galaxy, allies were mobilizing. On Earth, humanity stood united as never before. And in orbit, the Valhari ships began to move into attack formation, unaware that they were about to face not just one fledgling world, but a coalition of cosmic proportions. The Battle of Sol was about to begin, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. But for the first time since the crisis began, hope burned bright in Samira's heart. Humanity had found its place among the stars, and they would not stand alone. The Battle of Sol. As the final minutes of the Valhari ultimatum ticked away, an eerie calm settled over the Earth. In cities across the globe, people gathered in streets and squares, their eyes turned skyward. The Valhari ships loomed overhead, visible even in broad daylight, a constant reminder of the threat that hung over humanity. In the heart of the Quantum Nexus Control Center, Dr. Samira Patel stood surrounded by a dizzying array of holographic displays. Each one showed a different aspect of the impending battle. Earth's hastily assembled defenses, the approaching Allied fleets, and the ominous formations of the Valhari Armada. 30 seconds to deadline. General Kostova's voice cut through the tense silence. "All stations, report in." As military and scientific leaders from around the world confirmed their readiness, Samira exchanged glances with Tyleth and Zikra. The alien allies have been working tirelessly alongside humans, their advanced knowledge integrating seamlessly with Earth's quantum network. "The wormhole network is stable," Tyleth reported, its form shimmering with complex patterns. "Our allies are in position and awaiting the signal." Zikra's feathers rippled with anticipation. "The Aetherian fleet stands ready. We will not let Earth fall." As the final seconds ticked away, Samira took a deep breath. Everything they had worked for came down to this moment. Initiating quantum entanglement field, she announced, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The effect was immediate and stunning. A shimmering barrier of energy enveloped the Earth, visible from the ground as a gossamer thin veil of light that rippled across the sky. It was humanity's first line of defense, a shield born from the marriage of quantum physics and alien technology. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, without warning, the Valhari fleet opened fire. Beams of searing energy lanced down from the alien ships, only to be absorbed and dissipated by the quantum field. The barrier held, but Samura could see from the readouts that the strain was immense. "They're testing our defenses," General Kostova observed grimly. "This is just the beginning." As if in response to her words, the Valhari intensified their assault. The quantum field began to flicker in places, struggling to withstand the onslaught. "Now," Sylith called out, "open the wormholes." Samira nodded, inputting the command sequence they had prepared. Across the solar system, space itself seemed to twist and tear. Massive portals opened, defying the laws of physics as humanity had understood them mere days ago. Through these cosmic gateways poured the Allied fleets, the liquid metal ships of the Zarkon, the crystalline structures of the Vox Collective, the living vessels of the Gaia Synod, a kaleidoscope of alien designs, all converging to defend Earth. The space around Earth erupted into chaos. Energy weapons crisscrossed the void, while smaller craft engaged in dogfights that defied traditional tactics. The Valhari, caught off guard by the sudden arrival of the Allied forces, scrambled to regroup. On the ground, humanity was far from idle. Quantum-linked defense systems, hastily constructed with the guidance of their new allies, came online. Particle beams and gravity wells joined the fray, guided by AI systems that could react at speeds no human could match. "The Valhari are targeting the quantum generators," someone shouted. On the main display, Samira watched in horror as several of the facilities powering the planetary shield came under heavy fire. "Divert power from non-essential systems," she ordered, her mind racing. "We need to keep that shield up at all costs." As the battle raged on, it became clear that despite the advanced technology at their disposal, the Valhari were outnumbered and outmaneuvered. The coalition that Earth had inadvertently assembled was simply too diverse, too adaptable for the invaders to counter effectively. But the Valhari were far from defeated. With a maneuver that sent shockwaves through the Allied fleet, their massive command ship suddenly accelerated, pushing through the defensive lines on a direct course for Earth. "They're going to ram the planet," Zikra screeched, its usual composure shattered by the audacity of the Valhari's last-ditch effort. Time seemed to slow for Samira as she watched the massive ship bear down on them. In that moment, a wild idea formed in her mind, a desperate gambit born of quantum theory and adrenaline. "The quantum field," she said, her voice barely above a whisper before rising with urgency. "We can use it to phase the entire planet." Shilith's form pulsed with surprise. The energy requirements would be astronomical. "The risk." "We don't have a choice." Samira cut in, already inputting commands. "Everyone, divert all power to the quantum field. We're going to make the Earth intangible." As the Valhari command ship entered the atmosphere, alarms blared throughout the facility. The quantum field, already strained from the battle, now had to perform a task it was never designed for. Samira watched the power levels spike, praying that the system would hold. The world held its breath as the massive alien vessel plummeted towards the surface. In homes and shelters across the globe, people clung to each other, eyes squeezed shut in anticipation of impact. But the impact never came. With a flash of light that outshone the sun, the quantum field pulsed. For a fraction of a second, the entire planet Earth shifted out of phase with normal spacetime. The Valhari command ship passed through the planet as if it were nothing more than a hologram, emerging on the other side intact but utterly confounded. A cheer went up from the Allied fleet as they seized the opportunity. Concentrated fire from a dozen different species converged on the Valhari command ship, overwhelming its defenses. In a spectacular explosion that lit up the solar system, the heart of the invasion force was no more. With their leadership in chaos, and their main strategic weapon destroyed. The remaining Valhari ships began to retreat. Some were captured by tractor beams, others fled into the depths of space. But the message was clear. The Battle of Sol was over, and humanity, against all odds, had emerged victorious. As the quantum field slowly powered down, Samira slumped in her chair, exhaustion and elation warring within her. Exilith and Zikra approached, their alien features somehow conveying both respect and amazement. "Dr. Patel." Exilith began, its form shimmering with what Samira now recognized as excitement. "What you just accomplished, it's unprecedented. You've not only saved your world, but demonstrated a level of quantum manipulation that even we had thought impossible." Zikra nodded, its feathers rustling. "The Aetherian Confederation would be honored to offer Earth full membership in our alliance. Your species has more than proven its worth." Before Samira could respond, a new hologram flickered to life in the center of the room. It was a being unlike any they had seen yet, a swirling vortex of energy that somehow conveyed sentience. "Greetings, people of Earth." The being's voice resonated in their minds rather than their ears. "I am an emissary of the Cosmic Council. Your actions here today have not gone unnoticed. The galaxy watches, and it is impressed. A new age dawns for your species." As the implications of those words sank in, Samira gazed out at the holographic displays, showing the aftermath of the battle. Earth ships flew alongside alien vessels, working together to clean up the debris and rescue stranded crews. It was a sight that, mere days ago, would have been relegated to the realm of science fiction. Now, it was their new reality. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. As the first reports of the battle's outcome began to spread across the globe, Samira knew that nothing would ever be the same. The stars, once distant and unreachable, now beckoned, and humanity, united by crisis and buoyed by newfound allies, was ready to answer the call. A new era dawns. The days following the Battle of Sol were a whirlwind of activity, celebration, and profound change. As the dust settled and the immediate threat receded, humanity found itself standing on the threshold of a new era, one filled with both incredible opportunities and daunting challenges. Dr. Samira Patel stood at the podium, facing not just the assembled world leaders and press, but also a diverse array of alien representatives. The United Nations General Assembly Hall had been hastily modified to accommodate beings of various sizes, atmospheric requirements, and physical states. It was a stark visual reminder of how quickly the world had changed. "People of Earth," Samira began, her voice steady despite the enormity of the moment, "and honored galactic guests. A week ago, we stood alone in the face of an overwhelming threat. Today, we stand as part of a cosmic community, our horizons expanded beyond our wildest dreams." She paused, letting her gaze sweep across the assembly. Humans sat shoulder to shoulder with beings of incredible diversity. The shimmering forms of the Zarkon, the avian Aetherians, crystalline Vox, and dozens of other species she was still learning to name. "Our victory against the Valhari was not just a triumph of technology or military might," she continued. "It was a victory of unity, of the power that comes when diverse minds and cultures come together in the face of adversity. The quantum entanglement network that allowed us to call for help has become a symbol of our potential for connection, not just across our planet, but across the stars." As Samira spoke, holographic displays around the hall showed scenes from around the world. In cities across the globe, humans and aliens worked side by side, repairing damage from the battle and beginning the integration of advanced technologies. Universities buzzed with excitement as Earth scientists collaborated with their alien counterparts, unlocking secrets of the universe that had been beyond human comprehension mere days ago. But with this great leap forward comes great responsibility, Samira cautioned. "We have been granted access to technologies and knowledge that could reshape our world and our place in the galaxy. How we use these gifts will define us as a species." She turned to address the alien delegates directly. To our new friends and allies, we extend our deepest gratitude. Your aid in our time of need will never be forgotten. We look forward to working alongside you, learning from you, and contributing our own unique perspectives to the galactic community. Kylith, now serving as the official Zarkon ambassador to Earth, stepped forward. The Zarkon Cooperative is honored to stand with humanity. Your innovative use of quantum mechanics to overcome impossible odds has already sparked new avenues of research among our own scientists. This is the power of diversity. Each species brings its own strengths, its own way of seeing the universe. Zikra, representing the Aetherian Confederation, joined them at the podium. The Aetherians have long believed in the potential of emerging species. Humanity has proven that potential in spectacular fashion. We do not offer our alliance lightly, but we do so now with full hearts and high hopes for our shared future. As the alien representative spoke, Samira couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. From the terror of the Valhari's arrival to the desperation of the quantum gambit, to the exhilaration of victory against all odds, it felt like a lifetime had passed in just a few short days. The emissary of the Cosmic Council, the swirling vortex of energy that had appeared after the battle, materialized in the center of the hall. Its presence brought a hush over the assembly. People of Earth, it intoned, its thoughts resonating in the minds of all present. Your actions have sent ripples across the galaxy. The defeat of the Valhari Collective has shifted the balance of power, opening new possibilities for peace and cooperation. But it has also drawn the attention of forces both benevolent and malevolent. The choices you make in the coming years will shape not just your own destiny, but that of countless other worlds. The emissary's form pulsed with what might have been approval. We have watched your species for eons, waiting to see if you would overcome your divisions and reach for the stars. Today, we extend an invitation. Earth will be granted observer status on the Cosmic Council. Learn from us, share with us, and in time, take your place as full members of the galactic community. A murmur of excitement rippled through the hall. Samira felt a swell of pride and hope, tempered by the weight of responsibility. She stepped back to the podium, ready to address the assembly one final time. Fellow citizens of Earth and citizens of the galaxy, she began, her voice ringing with conviction. We stand at a crossroads of cosmic proportions. The path ahead is not without its dangers. There are still those who would seek to dominate or destroy, and our own worst impulses remain a threat. But we also have unprecedented opportunities for growth, for discovery, and for forging bonds of friendship across the stars. Samira's gaze swept across the hall, making eye contact with humans and aliens alike. Let us move forward not in fear, but in hope. Let us embrace our newfound place in the universe with humility, curiosity, and determination. And let us never forget the lesson of recent days, that in unity, in the connection of diverse minds and cultures, lies our greatest strength. As applause filled the hall, Samira looked up at the holographic display showing the Earth from orbit. The planet seemed somehow smaller now, more fragile, but also more precious. It was no longer their whole world, but it would always be home. In the coming months and years, humanity would face new challenges and wonders. The integration of alien technologies would revolutionize every aspect of life on Earth, from energy production to medicine to space travel. Earth's first extrasolar colonies would be established, and human scientists would join research teams across the galaxy. But perhaps most importantly, the people of Earth would gain a new perspective on their place in the cosmos. They were no longer alone in the universe. They were part of a vast, complex, and wondrous galactic community. As the assembly concluded and the work of building this new future began in earnest, Samira found herself standing with Tylith and Zikra, gazing out at the New York skyline, where alien ships now mingled with terrestrial aircraft. So, she said, a hint of her old scientific curiosity creeping into her voice, "What's next?" Kylith's form shimmered with what Samira had come to recognize as amusement. Dr. Patel, if there's one thing we've learned about humanity, it's that with you, the answer to that question is always surprising. Zikra nodded, its feathers rustling. Indeed, the galaxy has been forever changed by Earth's emergence, and we, for one, cannot wait to see what you'll do next. As the sun set on this historic day, casting the city in a golden glow, Samira felt a profound sense of hope. The quantum gambit had paid off beyond their wildest dreams. Humanity had not just survived, they had found their place among the stars. And this, she knew, was only the beginning.